Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It is February 25th, and we're going to do a propagation update. Now, I still have about 6 trays up here. We've got a few that's, showing signs, green leaves and stuff, but we've got a lot of them that aren't. We're winding down. A lot of these are tend to maybe come out a little later. We'll just have to see how well these do, but we did have a few this week, and we'll go take a look. In our so-called fig hospital, things aren't looking so good. There's a few that's hanging in there, haven't quite taken off. Now, we do have one good prospect here. It hadn't shown its roots yet, but it is good green growth, so hopefully that'll come out along with the one other one that we had taken out of there. But we have a lot of them waking up here. These were all started back in December 21st. So, but this green Iska, it's showing roots coming out the bottom. We'll take care of that. Now, all the rest of these are actually Chicago Hardies, and they seem to be waking up all at the same time. Now, one of these, this is, you can see it's got some little roots to the edge there, little roots to the edge there, and roots to the edge there. Now, this one here, I was going to say had very little. This, when I took and checked them all yesterday, this little root right there was the only one that was showing. It's smaller than that. So you can see how much in a day it done popped out some more roots. So this is good and healthy. But we're going to pot these up, and then we're going to go look at the other ones. And we're going, this propagation update, we're going to take and go down and see our figs and see if they're waking up, because I have noticed a couple that's close to the house that are waking up, and hopefully some of our others are. The weather's turning. We've got trees budding, even though I think we still have a little bit of cold weather left. That seems like they're starting to come alive and get ready for the season. Now that we're out in the greenhouse and we got our new 4 right there, and we have all these others that are doing so well, our total now is 180, which that's an awful lot of figs, being I'm not going to put that many in the ground. But I wanted to take and show you this little Miss Figgy that got froze, because last week, we seen a little bit of growth. Now you see how it's popped out its leaves. It's really doing well. This other one is doing well. It's coming alive. And of course, our Black Mission, that it had these bigger leaves last week, and now we've got a whole bunch coming out on this other limb where they froze back. So they're really doing well. I have pulled one fig out here. This is my Texas Blue Giant. I tried to grow this last year. I had a couple of starts and I lost both of them. This one is actually, it's just barely starting to send root out the bottom. I'm going to pot it up. I want to give it as much nutrition as possible. For those of you that keep up my bananas, I've taken the tent off, give them more light so they're not getting all that filtered light from the frost freeze protection. But we're going to go out here. We're going to take this one back up to the shop and pot it up into a 2-gallon pot. But we're going to go out here and take a look at the progress of the figs that are planted, that were propagated last year and the year before, and see how well they've done. Okay, we're up here by the house. We've got our chickens roaming around here, kind of cleaning up things. And they have done some damage by the roots of here. But this one is taken and budding out. You can see a little bit on that center stalk, maybe. And over here on this other one, it's much easier to see. It's already got leaves right there on that. So they're doing well. We'll come back in here as soon as we move these chickens tomorrow, and we're going to take and put some compost, fertilize them, put some compost on. Then they're waking up, and I can see as I go around. Let's zoom out so I don't get you any drunker. And I darn sure don't want to touch this fence because it will wake you up. But we kind of modified the chicken coop. But over here, those two up there were Texas Everbearing. These ones here are brown turkey, and they've got some green budding out there on that one. Let's go over here to this one. And this one's actually putting out leaves, so it's ready to go. Hopefully they won't get no bad cold spells. Let's go down and look at the rest of these. Okay, let's see what we got down here. Now we're up at this end. These are the earliest. Now these were some the earliest of last year's propagation. This is LSU Gold. It is definitely putting on. We're going to go up here to the newest one. Now, I don't know that I lost any during the cold weather of the winter. We did get down to 8 degrees, but we didn't have all the winds like before. Now, being these are younger, they could take longer to come back out. I can see when I look at this, and a lot of you that do fig, this might be a little bit dead at the tip, but I'm sure it should come back. We have this Brunswick here. It's definitely putting its buds out. Now this is January 25th, so it's kind of early for those. And this whole row now from here down, and yeah, I need to do some cleanup around them. But these were some pomegranates that I had propagated. Some of them were from seed, and they weren't very big, and we'll see how they do surviving through there. But it's looking like certain varieties are want wake up, and it's not necessarily varieties, it's how they adapt to here. We're getting leaves starting to do on this one here. This is a Granny's brown turkey. It's a brown turkey, but it just come from a tree that was at guy's granny's. We'll go back up here. We looked at the end of this row. Now we do have a lot of gopher and mole activity out here. We've been trapping some here just lately. We want to get them all before spring comes because that's breeding season. This is another LSU Gold. It's taken and leafing out. Our Violet Day Bordeaux, it's looking good. A lot of these others will come back, but it just takes them a little longer. Now this one is just starting to swell its buds, turning green, so that's a Brunswick. And we come down here, we've got some smaller ones. Now this Chicago Hardy right here does not look very good. And whatever was here, definitely, it didn't survive. It'll have to be replanted with something. We'll find out what that was. Now, we got to clean up this row. This was where our Roselle hibiscus was. And we put it here, and it doesn't like full sun. It shuts down its it throws it off so it doesn't start blooming as early. So we're moving this, and we're going to make this another row. This will be our last row of figs. Hopefully, you know, it's an addiction, so Sometimes that changes because we do have an area between these two rows that would give us another area to have them. So we might put in one there. But coming down here to the end, we've got some good action here on this brown turkey. It's swelling its buds. Now this one here looks like it's just starting out. It's an Italian everbearing, and then this one next to it, which is kind of small. Let's see what we got here. That's a Brunswick. It seems to be a pattern. The Brunswicks are doing real good coming out. This is just starting to swell its buds and put out leaves. And this is a Texas everbearing. And this end one here is doing good. It's got lots of buds and some green ones, and this is another Granny's brown turkey. And on the end here, this is my emerald strawberry, one of them. I tend to think certain varieties, and this is another emerald strawberry, which it's coming alive. I think certain varieties, like the emerald strawberry, I think it's got to be close to the same as the strawberry verte. I'm not going to get into that, but I think it is. Now, this Italian everbearing is starting to go. Italian everbearings really seem to be great producers, and they've got a good tasting thick. And we're going on down here, and not a lot of them waiting. Well, I say there are quite a few, but not a lot. There's over 100 in-ground figs here on the Povey farm. None all the way down there. It looks like we got some action here. This is another LSU Gold, and it's definitely budding out. This one just barely starting to wake up. That's another emerald strawberry. And this emerald strawberry is just starting to we really hadn't, we've been getting some days where we're in the 70s, upper 70s, and I think maybe even the lower 80s. Now we're just starting to see some green there on this green Ithaca. And when you're picking varieties, it might take time to figure out good varieties that's going to do good in your area. Now this one here is the white Adriatic. It's definitely putting on good leaves. This another white Adriatic, and it's just starting to get its green budding out. And here on the end, we've got a whole lot of green buds on this. This is a Italian everbearing, and they are really good producers. You look at these little figs that's already forming. These will be really early season figs. They should stay on here as long as we don't get any cold weather. So we'll be eating some Italian everbearing figs pretty early. We've got another Granny's brown turkey that's doing good. Another Granny's brown turkey that's doing good. And another Granny's brown turkey that's coming on and getting out there. Oh, and here's another one. I got quite a few of these brown turkey varieties. Now some of these, like this Black Mission here, it is just starting to wake up. It's getting a little green on the end. It won't be long. I definitely need to get my mower down here. I thought about even pinning my chickens around here, let them dig a little bit around, get some of this grass away from the roots. Now, we'll go on over to this other row. Now, all these ones were 2 years old, year before last, but they all froze back, if you remember, last winter, and so they had to regrow, and I took a lot of cuttings off of some of these. But as we come to the end, it's looking like there's not a lot budding out right yet. The Black Mission here, it's actually got some figs on there, and it's budding out, so it's going to have some good production. They didn't produce real well last year, I think partially because they formed their figs late in that really cold. Well, it was only 9 degrees, but it got down to, it had 40-mile-an-hour winds. This Brown Mission here is coming out too, and it's setting little figs, so maybe we can zoom in on there, probably, maybe. But it's setting its little figs on there too. So the Black Missions, a lot of them are coming back. This one here, I cut back pretty good, but it's got a lot of leaves popping out. It's coming back really fast. But not all of them's quite as quick. Now this one is waking up too. It's got some leaves in different places, different sides of it. It's budding out at the top. Looks like it's got little fig buds coming on, so hopefully I should get plenty of figs this year. Certain varieties, and especially for those of you that watch that are in cold areas, they're not going to do too well. Now this here, it did get some trimmed off, but let's see which variety this is. Marcellus Black BS. This is definitely dead wood. It's going to have to be cut out later, but it's not coming back yet. But now I only have, I think, one Desert King that survived. I didn't get enough growth to take and propagate this one out, so we're hoping for it to go. But the Desert King, I think, is one that in order to get a crop without a fig wash, you only get a breva crop. So if it freezes back in the winter, it doesn't produce any figs that year. Our Canadria, it's definitely waking up. It's getting a lot of green there. And this Texas Everbearing here is starting to put leaves out, and it's starting to do a lot of budding. So it won't be long. It'll be leafed out. Here in a week, it might look totally different out here. No sign from our Genos. Let's see. These are a lot of LSU purples and such as that, and they seem like they're going to be a little bit later. This one here, though, this is Texas Everbearing, and it's definitely putting out its. And this Texas Everbearing here is the same way. It's putting out it. It's budding out. Same with this one. It's get on the other side might be better, but it's budding out. We got more buds coming on here. Let me look at the tag. This is my compost fig, and this is another compost fig. It's budding out. This compost here is budding out, and this one here is already breaking out into leaves. It's another compost. It's doing well. Over here, this is our elderberries, and these were propagated 2 years ago too. And as you can see, being it didn't get cold, and hopefully we won't get any, but we're getting a lot of leaves coming on these. This is the ranch variety, and it's definitely doing good now. Ideally, if you wanted to propagate, now I have some propagating now in the greenhouse, and I didn't take the time to show how well they were doing this week. But ideally, this is the time to take your cuttings and do your propagation, because they're actively growing. Now, these froze back to the ground last year, and we did clean up around them and compost them. We'll come back down and compost them again this year. But the first year we didn't take very good care of them, so they were really slow to grow, and then they froze back to the ground. We got a pretty good harvest this last year, but as you can see, they're just all taking off now. I have one wildwood here. This was one that I took cuttings from, and you can see it's definitely leafing out here. So it'll come back and it'll grow quite a bit this year because it's got a good root system in there now. But as we come down here, these are all wildwoods that's down here. And I've yet to see any that hadn't come back. So that's going to be great. Now, I did want to do one more variety of elderberries, and I'll probably take some cuttings off of this since it's coming back. But this is the Bob Woodard. I had two of them here, one there and one there, and I think I had one at the very end. But this one didn't make it, but this one is doing really well. So I'm going to probably here in the next few days go ahead and take a cutting from this so that I can propagate me out a few more. I don't know where I'll put them, but I'll have them. But anyway, it's not a fantastically big fig orchard yet, but it should get to really going this year, hopefully, and we'll figure out things we need to do. We need to do a little bit of pruning on some trees to increase the light to some of them and such as that. But you can see by what's going on right now, and this we aren't even into March yet. So if we don't get any real bad weather, we should have figs early. And I'm always ready for figs. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tour. It's a little longer than the normal ones, but you got a complete tour of how our figs are doing right now. Maybe to encourage you to get some figs planted. Hopefully mine won't be long. I'm hoping next month, the end of next month, I'll start carrying them to the farmer's market. All the ones I'm going to sell, and I hope that I get these other ones into the ground so they can start. Our plans are to clean these roselle bushes out today, so we'll get that prepared and ready to go. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more content like this, of course, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, select all, and always give it a big thumbs up. Take that time to smash that like button and share this video. It really helps my channel. Enjoy that gardening experience.